Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Enter the Ether, the podcast all about the upcoming third-person MOBA Ethereal Clash of Souls. I'm your host, the Mangoose. Joining me, as always, is my friend and co-host, JellyKnees. How you doing, Jelly?
I'm fantastic, Mangoose. How are you doing, man?
I wanted to see how long you would wait until I said your name.
I would wait, dude. That's how this show starts. It doesn't officially start until I'm introduced, so I can't speak until then.
I've made that abundantly clear that no one is allowed to speak until they're introduced.
Exactly.
Oh man, it's been the anticipation is killing me. The open weekend is coming up. I'm ready to get in there. I'm ready to mix it up and play some more. I kind of want to do a video explaining a little bit of like how to play, because I think a lot of people last time had zero idea what to do. And like, you guys haven't defined a meta. It's a player defined meta, but there is a bit of a meta, and I kind of want to explain that to people. Like, you know, there's usually two junglers, and you know where the duo lane normally goes and all that kind of stuff. So I think that would be helpful. Do you guys plan on doing anything like that?
Yeah, actually, we'll have a video coming out this week that'll go. It's kind of like a tips and tricks video for all the 7 myths, as well as like where we think, based on what we've seen, they should go. The typical like important information to give you for supports and junglers. Make sure you buy the mask and mark, that kind of stuff, and then just actual tips for the myth themselves too.
Okay, right on. So I'll just refer people to that video. That means I don't have to make my
own. No, make your own, Mangoose. I want to see what you say and what we say and see how they differ.
I'm not doing tips and tricks though. So what I wanted to talk about this week was we kind of talked about it on for the minions a little bit, which is when you guys should really start hitting up marketing, like really putting the word out about Ethereal, because right now it's a pretty close-knit community. It's a lot of people that are looking forward to the game, but the word hasn't really traveled outside of just the small bit of people. I mean, you add a few people here now and then, a few people find out about the game, but yeah, it's kind of like kind of sort of coincides with what we were talking about with the poll that you guys did, where, you know, everybody had fun with the game, but not everybody felt that the game was ready for release. And I think I don't think the game's ready for mass marketing yet. What do you got to say on the topic, Jelly?
I mean, I think you kind of hit all the points already. Is finding that time and point where mass marketing and really pushing out the game to the masses is beneficial for us, right? And I think we've seen with Fault where a bad first impression can kind of kneecap you going forward. And so that's something we're very aware of. And while we do have a community already, we don't want to go out to the masses until we feel like we're not going to get kneecapped by ourselves because we did.
Right. I think the community right now is people that somehow found Ethereal and really believe in the project and are willing to put up with whatever bugs and new alpha state sort of gameplay that they have to in order to have fun. But the greater community, when they play a game, they're not going to want to deal with a lot of that. I think the main thing, like we've talked about a million times, animations. Like, the animations aren't great, and that's something people really pay attention to. So if you were to market the game right now, people would come into the free weekend, see the sort of messed up animations, and be like, this game sucks. And then they would tell everybody that it sucks, and then, you know, the game would be dead on arrival.
Yeah. And there's an extent of mass marketing that implies a level of quality, right? If I'm on YouTube and a YouTube ad pops up and it's for Ethereal, I know, even subconsciously, the company spent money on this in order for me to see it, which means they're feeling confident about it, which means the quality should meet a certain area of threshold, right? Because that's going to be slightly different for each person, but still meet a certain bar where they feel comfortable paying money to advertise the game. And if you do that too early, then that feeling is almost always going to let people down because they're coming in with higher expectations. Right. I think with the community that we have and the slow growth that we've been seeing over the last several years, but mainly the last several months as gameplay's been out and available, is that slow growth are people that are more aware of where the game state is at and are just excited to see where it goes going forward. It's not like the initial diehard group that you would see from a mass marketing push.
Right. Yeah, and it's I think it's people that believe in what the game can become, not particularly what the game is now. Like what the game is
Mhm.
now is certainly fun, and I fucking love playing it. However, yeah, I could definitely tell where people would be put off by it in its current state. Um,
Mhm.
a lot of that comes with the learning curve too. Like there is a very steep learning curve to Ethereal compared to most other MOBAs, and some people just don't want to put up with that.
Mhm.
Saw that with WildStar, MMO, an old MMO. Like the barrier to entry for WildStar for their late game content was just so high that people just didn't play the game.
Yeah, and I believe it was Odo who we talked to on For the Minions this week, talked about how he thinks that when Ethereal gets to the point that we want to be at for a like full release, he thinks it'll be by far the next great MOBA, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's getting to that point that is the biggest thing. And so it's nice to have those community members that believe in where the project is going and are willing, for lack of a better way to put it, are willing to put up with where it's at now to get to that point. Um, but in order to mass market, we have to be closer to that point before we can just put it out there to everybody.
And where it is now really isn't that bad for real.
No.
Like Iran's grab is of course buggy as all shit, and there's a couple of other bugs here and there, but like there isn't anything massively game breaking that I can really see. Like just the animations are off. That's like the main thing I think, and it's a pretty easy fix. But where the game is now, it's fun. It's fun to play. So,
And that's we've talked about internally in mass marketing, the game being fun isn't enough, unfortunately.
right.
Right? Like for those of us that have played the game, it being fun is a huge draw to go back. Absolutely. Despite even all some of the polish or lack thereof. Um, Whereas in mass marketing, you have to make the game look fun and then have it be fun then thereafter in order to acquire new players and then keep them at the same time. So we've got the latter half of that down. Now it's making it look more fun and look more visually appealing to then draw in that crowd when they see a 60-second video on YouTube or whatever the mass marketing may be.
Yeah, I think that's kind of I mean, what's got us all stirred up about marketing really is the Overprime with their trailer going to IGN.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody brought it up, and I looked it up, and they're right. That trailer has more views than Paragon's trailers ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's pretty.
That's huge. Yeah.
That's pretty big. But it didn't even have any gameplay. Like it's just a quick cinematic trailer. Which I think sets them back a little bit. Hopefully they'll have a gameplay trailer that reaches the same numbers as that cinematic trailer did. But I'm kind of hoping if you guys do something like that, you will include a bit of gameplay along with the cinematic. I think that would be a lot more helpful for people that are trying to figure out what the game is, just instead of just watching like a little
This looks cool. Out. What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And we talked about on For the Minions that they're likely waiting till after their closed beta test to do some kind of gameplay reveal for IGN. Because the submission process for IGN is not difficult by any means. It's basically fill out a form, send them the video, and wait.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be easy enough for them to use this to capitalize initially and then gameplay then thereafter when they're more confident in a release date or whatever that may be.
Yeah,
and that's good.
They've done some genius marketing things.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys could probably capitalize on some of that, but on the flip side, you guys have also done some pretty genius and innovative marketing, like especially through the like people hate them, but the NFTs. Like people love to hate on NFTs, but it got the name of the game out there to a broader amount of people, and it made you guys money to be able to play the game, to create the game. So I thought that was a masterful move on the part of Undying Games. But I mean, I think you guys can also learn a bit from what Soul Leave's doing, especially with the YouTube shorts and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the Reno thing, but
let me pay my own digital influencer to be part of our game.
Yeah.
You didn't know Malaya was a digital influencer, Mangoose? What? What are you talking about? Everybody knows that. I think something that I really enjoy about what Overprime's been doing that I'm trying to figure out better ways to implement it, and then also just wait because it's slightly different, is what they've been doing with their Steam page, right? The being able to use like the YouTube Shorts to market their Steam page, to get wish lists, to also get and giving rewards for all that and doing all of those things. Brilliant tactical move from them, because the algorithm on Steam values the wish list early on, and
Right.
so it'll just push them up in the Steam charts as well at the same time. Like, it's just absolutely brilliant. And so I've got a whole list of things that they've done, that I've seen other people do, that I want to do, all these things of like, this is the ways that I really want to push the game when that time comes.
But I mean, you guys got to be on Steam for that to work.
Well, that's what I said. I have to like adapt it because
Yeah.
they're differently, right? So, but it's finding ways to do similar creative things just in a different space than Steam.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool stuff. One thing Overprime is doing that kind of strikes me as odd is they're going mainly through YouTube Shorts and not through TikTok. I think TikTok's probably the more popular platform right now.
Yeah, I mean, TikTok, from what I understand about TikTok, their gaming transfer is very, very minimal.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's a mobile game, because then it's on your phone. You can directly just go download the game. No big deal. But the transfer off of TikTok to a PC to then download the game is less so. So maybe we'll start seeing it when they do console, because that's probably an easier transition off of TikTok. But we'll have to wait and see what they decide to do.
Yeah. Okay.
So Mangoose, I guess you've talked about the animations a little bit. What thresholds do you think Ethereal has to meet before going into that mass marketing? Like, what are the things that stick out to you?
I definitely think you need at least 14 playable myths before you start mass marketing the game. Because right now it's all mirror matches. You need to be able to have a little bit of variety in the myths. Yeah, definitely the animations, definitely voice chat, or not voice chat, but general chat, just any kind of chat functionality to be able to communicate with your team needs to be implemented before you guys do any sort of mass marketing. I don't know. I just think you need to hone it down a little bit and make it just a little bit better before you start trying to attract more people to the game. People outside of, right now you're impressing the Ethereal fans, but there needs to be a lot more done before you'll impress people that have never heard of Ethereal.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I actually would throw this out to anybody watching this as well in the comments. Leave like, if you've played Ethereal, if you've seen Ethereal, whatever it is, what are your capstones that you say, like, this is the thing they have to do before I feel the game is ready for mass marketing? And
Right.
I'm not saying that we're going to agree necessarily, right? But being able to see that is huge, because it gives us perspective of what the community thinks is important as well. I completely agree with you. I think animations are always going to be a big one until they get fixed, right? Which is in process. Chat functionality. I think there's a lot of little details that we can do better, or polish up, or whatever it may be. And toward that end, it will help just that edge a little bit more toward that mass marketing side of things. I'll talk about it now because it'll be out next weekend. But the post for Patreon, I won't go into specifics on it, but today's post for Patreon was showing that camera movement on abilities. So if it's better to have the camera a little higher, the camera will adjust when you start to cast, similar to like what it was in Paragon. And I think little things like that can go a long way in making the game visually look better and look more interesting than just the standard plain camera all the time.
And that'll just feel better, and just that'll be a huge quality of life improvement. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that. You can do a bunch of those little things. And we have a whole list of like polish as well, of a bunch of different things that we're like, okay, this could be tweaked just slightly to make it feel better or make it more impactful or whatever the thing is. We have a whole list of those things that we're going through all the time. So
yeah, I definitely think too, whenever you guys do start marketing, you need to really play to your differences, like Leah specifically. I kind of did that on my own. Like, I did that little Leah video where I had David Attenborough like narrating the dive, and then I did another video where I was just flew in and ganked a marina. But I intentionally left Ethereal out of the title and just put like, "Don't you wish your jungler could fly?" or longest dive in a MOBA ever, to just kind of entice people to take a look and be like, and there were a lot of comments on those videos like, wait, what game is this? Like, what the fuck is this, you know? I think capitalizing on that sort of thing, Iran breaking through walls, Iran throwing people off the map, Leah flying around, all that sort of good stuff, Malaya climbing up rocks and everything. That's the sort of stuff that's going to draw players into the game, I think. Especially when you guys eventually go to console, I think would
absolutely.
bring
And
a lot of
that's,
people in.
I definitely have had plans, and I've kind of been mapping it out in my head for a little while now, of when that mass marketing time comes, putting together a 60-second video, however long it's going to be, showing some of those extreme unique things of Ethereal, of the Berserkers breaking walls, of Leah flying, of Malaya climbing, all of those things, showing them, because you're absolutely right. Those are some of the biggest differences. And those are some of the things, if you can, in a video, capture that this is a MOBA, but these super unique features that don't exist in other MOBAs are part of it, I think that will catch people very, very quickly, and it could spread like wildfire then thereafter.
Yeah. Another concern I have, though, is the declining popularity of MOBAs, which is, MOBAs have been in decline for a while now. But watching that, looking at the comments of Overprime cinematic trailer on IGN, you see a lot of people that are like, "Oh, it's a MOBA, nope," and then which that's a little concerning to me.
I think part of it is that over time, genres of games come and go, right? We've seen that,
right.
I think, mainly evidenced by the Battle Royale genre, because it blew up really fast and then declined just as quickly. And it's still around, but it's not nearly as prevalent as it was before. And I think MOBAs just came up slowly and are slowly on the decline. But by the same token, I think innovation in the space has been lacking. And because of that, that's part of why the decline's been happening. And that's why you're seeing Dota, League, Smite try these extreme things to try and bring some fresh takes to the space. But for the most part, those fresh takes have been masked as fresh takes, but really the same thing that's always been there. So it's that vice versa. Whereas I think Ethereal really has that fresh perspective on it. Yeah. And so it's accomplishing the goal of telling other people about that freshness and making them feel like, oh, the MOBA genre has changed with this title. Let's get into that and see how it feels, how it's different, all those kind of things.
And when you think of a MOBA, you think of kind of I mean, once you get into it, it's not boring. Like League of Legends, Dota, or any kind of like an isometric top-down. Like when you get into it, you realize that there's a lot going on there. But just looking at it from the outside, it looks fucking boring. Whereas Ethereal, you got Malaya jumping off a wall and then dashing over and crashing on top of somebody, or Talos jumping from one lane and then fucking flipping down to the next lane and smashing into the ground. Like, you got cool shit like that, which was kind of the original intention of Ethereal in the first place. But that kind of thing, I think, would drive people that maybe did not believe in MOBAs before to maybe try it out again. I mean, even Paragon, which was, you know, a whole brand new thing in the MOBA space with the Z axis, didn't do that much that was crazy. You know what I mean? It wasn't that much more than Smite. It was a lot better than Smite, I think, but because of the Z axis, that introduced a lot. But Ethereal is introducing even more into that space. Like
a much bigger Z.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the class abilities are important to show off. The lane structure is important to show off, because too many times we've seen videos, right? You and I have made videos of someone jumping off of the lane, and there's a comment in there being like, what? Like, you can jump off the lane?
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. That's the feeling you want to capture in the mass marketing material, right? Is that moment where people go like, that's nuts. I need to know what this is, and learn more about it.
Right.
Right. And I think the class abilities, the lane structure, and kind of the overall design of Ethereal lends toward having those reactions.
Yeah, I think I really saw that a lot in that Leah video I did, because like I started way on the top lane, flew all the way down to mid lane and ganked a lane. And I think even if you never played a MOBA before, just it made you want to go like fly around and attack people like that. And it just it looked fun. I think you guys have a lot that you could capitalize on there. Huh. Yeah, like Oda said, if you guys can accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, it'll be huge. And I think you already have to an extent. You just, like I said, you need more myths before you really start hitting it hard. Those animations really need to be tight, like a toiga. And yeah, just minor things that people always expect from games, like chat and stuff. I think after that, you guys should be set.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think we're very far off from being ready for that kind of marketing, right? It's just getting those final things nailed down and added in there to push us over that edge.
Yeah. At least some sort of previews sort of thing. Like a few little glimpses, start maybe real slow and then build up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to a lot more people playing and having fun with the game.
Mm-hmm.
My main concern though is that learning curve, because like somebody coming from Smite, I think actually somebody coming from Smite would have a little easier time with it than coming from Paragon, because Smite you're picking stuff like battle spells and that sort of thing, whereas Paragon you never did.
Yeah, Paragon was a lot more pick your character, get into game.
Yeah,
that's that.
But even coming from Smite, you got all these, you got 6v6, you got all the new abilities, you got class abilities, you got all this stuff going on. It's gonna be a pretty large barrier to entry. That's gonna be an obstacle you guys need to get over, and some sort of solution has to be in place, I think, before you start marketing.
Yeah, and that's, I think, and you and I have talked about this in the past, Mangoose, is the barrier to entry is huge, definitely. But at the same time, once you get it figured out, once you like have that moment where it clicks, and it actually from there is fairly straightforward. But it's just getting to that initial understanding that's the hardest part.
Yeah,
because like we've talked about the map looks insanely daunting, right? But then you get in, you play a couple games, and you're like, oh, this makes sense. Okay, it's fine. But you don't really have to think about it too hard past your first couple games. The myth abilities, right? Yes, there's the extra ability in there. Your ultimate's not on R, it's on F, right? But again, that's once you get that shift, you can pretty much be locked in that concept. It's just understanding those initial aspects of each thing that make it really difficult.
Something I absolutely hated at first was having to hit Alt E to shield myself as Marina. But after you play like a game or two, it's just like second nature. Like I was very surprised at how quickly I adapted to that.
As more abilities get put in there that you can self-cast, right? That's going to be even more beneficial to have as a dedicated key, is that you just press it. It's going to be instinct, like you said, where you pick it up and it's just that easy.
Can Grognark self-cast his rock? just smash it right in his own face.
I love it. Yeah, and he gets a damage buff when he does.
He eats it. He's like the rock eater from Neverending Story. His big, strong hands.
All right, we got a petition to make Grognark eat his own rock now. We've already got the rolling in there. Now we got to get the eating his own rock.
I want more. That's who you need to collaborate with, because that has to be cheap by now. Is Neverending Story tie-ins. I want a Falcor the Luck Dragon as a Sky Slayer.
I'm in. I'm so down.
A bunch of people are like,
capitalize on nostalgia.
What is that?
Yeah.
You'll get a much older audience than any other MOBA.
And when he gets a hexa kill, he sings Neverending Story. There it is, dude. I'm in. I'm sold.
Oh, I want to trade.
All right, 10% for us.
As always, we get our 10%.
Always.
Oh man, yeah, I'm looking forward to the market. Do you guys this might be prying in a little too far, but do you have the ability to do cinematic trailers? Well, I mean, we've already seen some cinematics from you guys. Was that internal, or did you guys outsource that?
That was all internal. So that was all the sets of that, all the animations, everything was done internally for that cinematic.
Right on. That's another thing I think you guys need to capitalize on, is the art of Ethereal. And putting it out not only via like games and stuff, but I'm sure there's like Pinterest and like ArtStation, and there's a whole bunch of like places where people share art. Start sharing like some of the some of the artwork for the myths and stuff like that, and on sites like that, I think could also drum up a little bit of outside interest.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know a bunch of our item artists and our 3D modelers and all of that belong to communities like that as well.
Right.
That they can go out and say like, look at these things that I've been working on, or to all of these communities, that helps just bubble that very, very quickly.
If you could have one of your artists work on like a K-pop star to dance with your characters at a YouTube show.
Oh my goodness.
Which I could then replace the music with adrenaline.
It's fine. We'll just add Shinbi in the game and just call it a day. Epic did the hard work for us. How they're gonna have 2 Shinbis, I don't quite know, but whatever.
I suppose we'll discuss that more on For the Minions, but I still don't know what to think of that. I mean, that's a weird. I mean, we're talking about marketing, so let's bring it up a little bit. That's a weird way to market the game. Like, I don't know.
Uh-huh. I think and thinking about it a lot, I think it's something that just is not a Western thing. I think for us, we look at that and just go, okay, sure. Right? Kind of like that tale on what's her face? FaZe. Cynthia, sorry. Right, that we don't understand that Mangoose because we're not part of that community. But if it appeals to you, more power to you. Right? Yeah. That's how I think Western culture of like those K-pop stars is big, but not nearly as big as it is in the East. So maybe over there, they're all losing their minds thinking this is the greatest thing ever.
Know,
and
right?
over here, we're just like, I don't get it. Sorry.
I consider myself to be an anime man of culture, and a lot of you know exactly what I'm saying when I say that. But the arena thing still kind of threw me off from there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Much prefer Malaya myself.
I feel like they do a lot of good things though, right? That are really good ones to look at and emulate for a game's perspective, because their growth has been insane. The fact that basically a year ago, they went from the kind of, you said it in one of your videos, Mangoose, they went from like the joke of the Paragon successors to being one of the biggest, if not the biggest at this point, is nuts. And to do that in a year's time, roughly, is incredible.
Yeah.
So you're lying if you're looking at that and saying that this is a bad idea, because they are showing all the good reasons to do it the way they did it.
Not even a year. It started really in August. In August, they were like, this is what we're going to do with the game. And then after that, just plodding forward, charging ahead. I'm just glad to see that you guys actually pick up on stuff like that and learn from it, instead of being like every other game, like, oh, well, we're just making our own game. We don't even look at what they're doing. Bullshit.
Yeah.
and if that isn't bullshit, then you're fucking dumb. Like,
I completely agree with you. This is one of those things. I will fully admit that I watch all of these games very closely. Because I see something and I'm like, that failed for this reason. Okay, we don't do that. That was a success for these reasons. Okay, we look at doing that. Like, I keep a list constantly of like when I see something new happen, whether it's the Paragon successors or just other marketing things that I've seen, that I'm just like, that's brilliant. I like that. Okay, how can I manipulate that to work for Ethereal? Or how can we adopt this?
Yeah.
100%. And any of these other companies not doing that is lying, or like you said, are just dumb.
There's very few things in the world that are original. Like when I started doing honest hero reviews, I was copying like honest movie trailers is what I was doing. But people were like, "Oh, you're copying Mythimoo." I was like, "What the fuck is a Mythimoo?" It was like he was like a Smite YouTuber or streamer or something like that. That he had done a similar video about Kalar, and maybe he had done more. I don't know. But he had done a similar video, but I wasn't copying him. I was copying somebody else though. I was copying, and I'm pretty sure the honest movie trailers was just copying Johnny Carson from like back in the 80s, because he used to do something really similar. So just because it isn't 100% original doesn't mean it's not good.
Yeah. But if you can take an idea that's completely unoriginal that you're ripping from somewhere else and make it feel original, that's huge.
Yeah.
Because that'll sell real well.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like it's a copy of something else, even if it is.
100% agreed. All right, man. I think that's about all I had to talk about, unless you had some more stuff.
No, I think that's good for me as well.
Right on. Still trying to figure out whether I'm going to do this video of how to play.
You have to now. You've announced it to people before I said anything, so now it's a done deal. How to play Ethereal, and what I'll do is I'll wait to schedule our video until after yours comes out, just so I can explicitly be like, Mangoose is dumb. Okay, here we go.
This is the things that Mangoose got wrong. No, I don't have enough footage to do every hero anymore. Every myth.
It felt like that when I was making my videos consistently. I would like make a video about something. 2 seconds later, they drop an announcement of like, this is how this works. I hate everything you people stand for because I just made a video about this.
Your tinfoil theories, a lot of them are right though. A lot of them are.
What can I say, man?
Money. I still can't believe you figured out the Ethereal language. Like, oh, that was so long ago, but holy shit.
I was thinking about that the other day, that I probably fallen out of practice of reading that as well as I used to.
I do need to give myself a little bit of credit because I did start the cipher for the Ethereal language, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, dude, it was so much fun. I would say like I love being part of the team, but that's the aspect I miss the most, of just being like out there and with a lot of my stuff, right? Where I'm just sitting there like, what could it possibly be? Let's just guess at this thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was right. Oh, okay. I don't know where to go now.
I would see him release an image. I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And then you'd be like, if you look here and you look here, and if you match this color to this color, and I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't see any of that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, what can I say? That's because I would do that to people I know in real life, and they finally got tired of me doing it. I was like, I'm just going to make YouTube videos about it.
Oh, shit. Now I know why you had to move to Utah.
Exactly. Yeah. I had to get away from everybody. It was too much.
That guy's crazy. All right. Yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Jelly, you got anything you want to plug?
Just my live streams, twitch.tv/JellyKnees, or on YouTube, either way. I live stream to both of them. We do Marvelous Mondays every Monday night at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. In this instance, Bearded won last week, so we're playing Dead by Daylight tomorrow, which I mean yesterday at the same time. So
Bearded
should be fun.
Dead by Daylight?
Bearded picked Dead by Daylight, yeah.
You gotta be shitting me.
No, I was just as surprised as you are.
Thought for sure he would say Fault. Man, I played with Bearded last night. He was tilted from the very beginning. Like, he was not feeling it. It was...
Maybe that's why he said Dead by Daylight, because he's like, no, I'm too tilted on Faults at the moment.
Maybe. All right. And,
what about you, Mangoose? What did you got to plug?
I got nothing to plug.
Mangoose has a video coming out this week titled How to Play Ethereal, and it's going to be the most informative video Mangoose has ever made until we drop one right afterwards that is a little bit more information.
So look forward to Dying Games' How to Play
exactly.
Ethereal, not mine. But yeah, let's go wrap it up. Appreciate everybody coming out. If you're watching this on the premiere, appreciate you if you're watching the video. I'd especially appreciate it if you have subscribed to the podcast and have downloaded it and listened to it from there. And but for now, that's going to be it for this week. I hope you all join us in the upcoming weekend as we all enter the ether.